to see how they're going to play the Winston here, because if you would kind of expect Fusion to do the same kind of thing, which currently they are, it's going to be a straight mirror. Let's see who wants to switch to something fight. I doubt he does. I don't think there's any way. He does have his Translocator back in the spawn, so he can kind of
get a different
back to that
spot for that if you can.
Yeah, he's not. No, so it doesn't look like he's going to change at all. In fact, nope, packing the mini health back definitely indicates he's staying. And it's just about taking this platform control first. You give a lot less space to the enemy healers too if you do this, because Twilight is so safe. Not so much anymore, as he's purple. Same with Smurf is going to have to get out of there rather fast too. That was a beautiful fire grenade from Alarm. You can see how much ult charge both Twilight and Alarm have already. Old teammates, like I said before, rocking the same supports. And Smurf has to be a little bit careful, but the Zarya has to be careful with the bubble. And it's going to be a small rotation here from Fusion trying to get onto high ground.
Oftentimes the defense will meet them up on this high ground as well, but it does seem like Philadelphia's just going to be able to take full control of it. As where does the dive come in from? Getting free progress.
Yeah, this is a really nice position from Alarm here. You can kind of nade inside the bubble like that. As soon as you break it, you're going to be safe. Sado did get hacked. No ticker quite just yet for the Fusion. A couple of pixels off before that went out. And Ivy actually dies in the 1v1 to Rascal in that small room. Very honourable, I must say, and not dipping out the heels. Sado ends up getting the nano boost as well to try and turn the tides. However, Smurf's going to receive 1-2, but almost instantly go down. Oh no, sorry, that was Violet that got the nano boost from Twilight. It wasn't Smurf at all, and I'm wondering if that was actually a mistake. Maybe Violet got in the way, because it definitely felt like Smurf was in a bit of a precarious position. And now they're jumping onto the point. Rascal's going to go down as well, and now Fusion could start getting some time.
Yeah, Fusion right now just wants to win the fight without having to use any more ultimates. Like, that is the big key right now.
Okay, that's sick ult, actually. Oh, the EMP as well, straight on top of Fury. There's the blade. Oh, Choi, run. He's got a blade in a small room, although Ivy doesn't have the nano boost, and he almost instantly ends up going down. Twilight's thirsty for blood. Sado and Ivy end up falling. That was a beautiful grab coming out from the Fusion to stop Violet there from getting the rally to the rest of his team. The problem was, then Fury got grabbed. And unleashing the blade without the nano, Fusion can't really do much. They got so much protection, and they could just evade the blade.
It caught them completely off guard. It caught me a little bit off guard too. Again, I need to learn that San Francisco is still in every single fight. And look what Philadelphia ended up spending to try to pull that one back. The EMP and the blade. Yeah, the Grav came out to try to defend it. Now San Francisco has flipped this script. Their economy is in a great position. Philadelphia, though, has this mana ready to go.
Wow. Okay, well, Sado dies to Violet. Okay, go again. Look how many ults those Shock have.
There's only a minute left.
A little bit absurd. Yeah, you got
only
one fight
a minute left. There's 2 ticks, though, so it doesn't have to be a supreme team fight. San Francisco just banking ultimates right now. I think San Francisco is going to be the aggressors here. I think they come in and try to nail an EMP, because the attackers are going to be grouped up. EMP is much better to land on an attacking force.
Yeah, Sombra's hanging around the mega pack here. He's who on the high ground. Hasn't found anybody just yet. He's waiting for Sado to kind of jump in. He actually does take the duel with somebody. And now Sado jumps up into the high ground with a Primal Rage, although Nano Blade is still available from the Shock. There's the Nano. The Blade might not even need to come out, to be fair. No, Rascal's just not going to go in with this. They're a little bit too far away and isolated too, so this Nano went a little bit astray, if I must say. An attempted hack onto Rascal to stop him dashing in, but they must know he has the Blade. Sado gets the Nano boost, but it's going to get naded too. He has to just get out of there ASAP. A Graviton Surge will come in from the Shock, as well as that rally on top, and in fact, they're throwing everything in. 13 seconds remains for the Fusion to try and find a place on the first point, but it's not going to happen. And now they're going to have to touch. But I don't think it's going to work. I mean, Hisu, he's got 10% towards this EMP, but San Francisco Shot with pure ultimate economy game has managed to hold the Fusion off this first point. Sado's going to be able to get back just in time, but gets booped away. And the Shock have such a clear win condition. I mean, especially on Anubis, it's such a long way from the second point spawn. It takes you so long to get back if you haven't got a Lucio, you're not a Tracer, like someone with mobility. One fight here, and Shock could end this map right now.
Choi Hyobin got 2 Graviton Surges, was able to lap Fury. He was able to get Grav every 1 minute and 40 seconds. Meanwhile, Fury at 2:31. And while we have this downtime, Jack, it's my favorite game. Pop quiz, hot shot. How many kills did Philadelphia Fusion have on their push?
3.
Oh, it's close. But as your Price is Right rules, you went over. It is 2. 2 kills.
2. Okay.
Rascal and Smurf died.
Ouch. I mean, that is... Yeah. Coming off of the map, and it being close, in fact, both of them being fairly close, you're like, okay, cool. Don't expect to get first held, but there's Twilight the sharpshooter on the Arno. I love doing damage as Arno. I've always found it quite satisfying.
I just find San Francisco so absurd sometimes because I'll forget about all the guys on the team, and then it's like, well, yeah, okay, Violet's really good at Zen. He's really good Baptiste. You know, he can play Brig. They've got Moth and Lucio and the Mercy covered. And then one of the best Annas from Season 2, Twilight, MVP candidate, Role Star. Like, it's absurd. It's the embarrassment of riches that San Francisco has.
Shock do be hoarding some good players. I will say that.
Shock do be hoarding.
Yep. Nice little leap in there from Smurf. Got to track Hisu here, ideally. You can stop him from building this EMP, but we said it before, Hex, that he's been struggling on this Sombra pick. The EMPs have been good, but the generation not so much. And look at the space now that Shock are going to be able to claim. They're going to be able to claim this Mega Pack room, however their health pack is hacked, luckily enough for Fusion.
Choyobin has no energy right now. He's going to try to go get some. Has to be a little careful, but they're holding door.
He's alive somehow still? Okay. That was a ridiculously good nade from Alarm there, waiting for the personal bubble from Choi to go down. And now they're just fighting this room. Eventually, Choi dies. There we go. Another bio grenade lands, and that is Shock going down. Nothing really else they can do.
Okay, I mean, now you're thinking this is winnable because it's not like you can only draw this map. San Francisco did put some progress on there. Those free 2 ticks are really going to come back to haunt. Or, excuse me, yeah, Philadelphia put some progress on there. They are at 87%, so San Francisco, their first push extremely botched. The alt economy in favor of Philadelphia by a small margin here. So they need to win 2 more fights, and they can win this map.
Just stockpiling ultimates, and that's what Fusion have done. They've got EMP, they've got Blade, they've got Nano Blade, in fact, and they almost have that grab too. 6 ultimates online almost. Oh, nice little sleep. And whoa, look at that. That is a get down, Mr. President, right there. Everybody spotting someone being asleep, and they dash around him. EMP comes out. That's a 5-man. That's Rascal dead, and that's the rest of the team gone as well. And now you sit on a Nano Blade, a grab, a Primal Rage. Very winnable from the Fusion. However, Shock not out of this just yet. EMP coming through. That's 4 people hacked. However, the rally's already building up for the Fusion. They're way harder to take down. Ivy with the Nano. He doesn't need the Blade. They're already trapped in the grab. That'll be that team fight over again. The Shock investing a fair bit into this fight. They use the Nano, they use the Rally and the EMP, but Philadelphia, they had to use a few of their own, and they only have the Blade coming for this next fight with no Rally armor. This should disappear by the time the Shock engage again.
Yeah, it's not a few of their own. They used everything. Those are single-digit charges on the entire 4 right players of the Philadelphia, both supports and both tank ultimates used. Now San Francisco has a Blade of their own, a grab, and a Primal here in a huge position. Philadelphia might just try to go in and stop this. If they find a support out alone, I think you just have to gamble with the Naked Blade into the backline.
See where Ivy is. He's kind of hiding around the high ground on the left-hand side with Sado. Ivy is going fairly low, however, and Choi setting up for the grab of his life.
Well, they want to rotate to get up there. I mean, the grab needs to go into the high ground where all the major players are.
Yeah, you can pin into the wall, though, so maybe that's the play for Choi. He's going to bubble them down. So now the Fusion are in an odd situation where they have to contest. He's just going to do just that. 4-man EMP. Rascal goes down first yet again. And now 40 seconds remains for the Shock. They may have had the ults Hex, but Philadelphia Fusion, they managed to build up another EMP. It took Shock so long to decide really what they wanted to do. They pushed in onto the point, had positioning, but Hisu had a better one.
It just wasn't quick enough. They just didn't go quick enough because Hisu was, I think, at 30% when that fight started with the ults, and much maligned in the last couple of maps for his ult charging ability, but he's able to get that EMP off. Last gasp, though, for San Francisco. They're going to have 5 ready to go. Striker gets hacked! Striker gone!
Nano Blade, though, in the bag. Rascal's find one already, and it's to support. The sleep guard goes wide. Alarm ends up going down as well, but Ivy at least trading 1 for 1. Rascal with a 4K, and now jumps to the back. Ivy and Hisu are low. The Graviton Surge on the 2 HP Ivy finishes him off in the end, and Shock, they managed to get onto the point. Someone still has to touch. Thank goodness Smurf realized that. Fusion are going to be able to come back on the Wrecking Ball, but it doesn't really seem winnable now as Striker is just holding on to this EMP. The Nano Blade was worth it. Ivy tried to clutch it out in the end. Sado's going to be able to come out with a Primal Rage as well. Still winnable. EMP hits a couple of people. Smurf is going to get hacked as well. The rally is here. That is going to be it. Shock are going to push off Fusion in OT. It looks so winnable, but it doesn't matter in the end. The Shock are going to claim the map and claim 2-1 in the series.
A very interesting version of Temple of Anubis. It is Philadelphia Fusion's first loss on that map all season. San Francisco plays the extremely patient game. Philadelphia did what they could. Season 2, so they had a plan going into it. But yeah, that's the last time Philadelphia was able to beat the San Francisco Shock. And we shall see. Ons on offense is going to be on the Sombra first, but maybe this is just to allow the versatility.
Well, they're going to know that Hisu's on this Sombra as well. I wonder if Ons does end up switching. I'm not sure he is. He's kind of doing damage, less about scouting. High ground control, name of the game for Watchpoint Gibraltar. See Smurf just kind of escorting the payload. I mean, the best thing for Hisu here is basically just to get behind the enemy lines and just start poking at the tanks. Hisu's going to be able to get priority control of the health packs. Well, oh dear, inside his own bubble. And Choi, oh, whoops-a-daisy, gets booped off the map as well. There is someone still pushing the payload. It is Striker. Fury cleans up the rest, though, and stops the payload from moving too. Now Hisu can just set up really well. It's kind of a soft counter to Striker 2. Striker 10. Yeah, that's a big stack skill, actually. It's a kind of a soft counter to the Tracer, because if you hack all the health packs, Hex, you can't really scurry anywhere. You literally have to go back to your healers in order to get healing. So it can be very annoying for Striker to actually get a lot of space and do work in the backline.
And it's also going to be somewhat difficult for Twilight to heal the Tracer as well. I mean, Tracer's a small target far away, and you don't really want to be standing still as a Tracer. So it's up to Violet to just try to toss him packs, and that's less packs for everybody else.
Tracer pretty fast.
More packs.
Should be fine. He's going to get around the corner. Slow, grueling push here. Oh my god, that was so low. Oh, the nano boost onto the blue box. Oh dear, he does get slept. Oh, and they leave him too. Oh, this is disaster. Sado just leapt up to the moon and then got slept and hacked. And now the EMP's going to come out though. Smurf, Choi, Arns, they've all been hacked. Striker sends out the post bomb but doesn't quite find anybody. That's a beautiful counter EMP there from the Fusion. Hisu spotted how many members of the Shock were kind of in and around his team, hits that EMP and manages to take out Smurf, or at least attempt to help him. Graviton Surge into the front line as well. Violet jumps into the bubble to try and heal everybody up, but it's not going to work. The Fusion continuing to hold this payload.
And they invested everything that they had going into that one. Ons dies, but he is going to be the absolute key to their next fight. He's going to have an EMP ready, and that's about all they have to work with. Funny Astro will have a rally to perhaps counter that. Philadelphia not working with a ton themselves. Let's see if the Sombra can get something done here.
See where he's playing. He's still kind of with the team currently.
We're at 90 seconds, and they're just past Car Wash.
You only need one fight, however. I had Hisu's beacon, who had a little call out from far behind. And Hisu is closing in on an EMP of his own. If he can kind of get this ASAP, they may be able to counter EMP, but Striker has seen him, so he's going to have to back off. Now they both have EMP. EMP first from the Fusion. Shock, again, a little bit late to the party. Hex once more. Ivy and Arns do end up trading out. Basado is staying alive with this Primal Rage. This is a good look for the Fusion right now. Ivy's going to be able to get back rather fast too. Arns can come back with the EMP of his own, but the Fusion are going to have to hold the high ground. A Graviton Surge on to the point. The Pulse Bomb goes a little bit wide. In fact, I think it was bubbled by Choi. And now Fury just runs to the back line and kills off Twilight and Choi. The EMP has come out. Hex, it hit 3 people. Hisu ends up falling. It's Striker and Smurf's duty now to try and clean up this fight. But Fury's going to be able to get kept alive, and he's still holding this grab. Shock are just all over the place on this map. Indecisiveness with these EMPs is not landing them in a good space. 25 seconds now remaining for them to put this payload in the first point.
I mean, if you were going to run Sombra the whole time, I don't know why like Striker doesn't run it or Rascal doesn't run it. Ans's Sombra, he plays it aggressively, and he EMP'd and he died immediately. And yes, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but the follow-up damage needs to be there from even just the Sombra, and also getting the secondary hacks when EMP starts fading, and he's out of the fight.
Okay, Ans
Desperation Widow.
pick. I mean, this is it. This is the true desperation pick.
Blade,
always
though.
has been. Choi gets hacked as well. He can't go to the payload. Someone has to touch. Someone has to touch. The Tracer does in the end, but Smurf ends up getting caught out alone, and now the Blade's going to be big. Fury does end up going down. I say the Blade's going to be big. The Graviton Surge went wide as well, but the damage is really there. And finally, Arns gets taken out. Ivy may have been slept, and Twilight does pull it off. The miracle sleep on the Blade, but with Striker the only surviving member from the shot on the payload, is they going to be able to do too much with just a single pick? The Fusion are going to halt them just before first point. It's either you get held at first, or you make it all the way to the third point and finish on this map. There is literally no in between. And this time around, the Philly hold them. Shock again with the EMPs. Hisu was 75%-ish. He was around that kind of bracket, and Arns had EMP. And I said, Hisu needs to build up EMP, maybe go for a counter. Nope, Hisu built up EMP, hit it, and Shock hadn't used theirs yet, and they just get rolled over. And then they were in a clutch situation, and Arns ended up using it, hitting 2 people, but then there was no follow-up.
Yeah. And Sato didn't die at all that map. He was getting primal every minute 15. Hisu, 1 minute and 20 on the EMP charges, ends up with 16 enemies hacked, only 8 EMPs, so the individual hacks also coming in huge. San Francisco only managed 6 kills that entire offense. It's not the best comp for San Francisco. Unfortunately, it's very popular in the meta to be running the Sombra, and you know, San Francisco, the signing window's closed. Otherwise, I'm sure they just signed the best Sombra we've ever seen play somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, just I feel like Arns, and I kind of thought they put him on the Widowmaker here because it is such a good Widowmaker map, or even
it makes sense, yeah,
as well. I mean, he's going to be on the Sombra yet again. And it is very defendable, mind you, just make you aware. Like, it is very defendable. Most teams currently, we must have a stat for it somewhere.
I think the thought was San Francisco thinking, like, hey, when we get to last point, because we're San Francisco.
Wait, what was that? They were just angrily looking at each other, and then Sato falls over because Choi punched him in the face.
Looked like some cover art.
It really did, actually. Most of them looking at each other, just angrily, just mouse wadding through bubbles. Oh my god, that was funny.
Well, it's going to slow down Philadelphia just a little bit, but this is where you're getting all the free push anyway. They pressure out Ons just with a triple shuriken shot.
Yeah, it was pretty accurate from Ivy, actually. Shurikens are fairly hard to land. It's a very unique weapon. It's like Lucio's in a way. It's rather unique. The right click not so much, but the left click is a certain knack to this. A certain skill.
Right click is just shuriken shotgun.
Yeah, you right click, you gain ult. You right click, you ult. That's what Genji's life is currently. Blue box control for the Fusion here, though, which is really good because Alarm can set up really nicely.
Yeah, he's just chilling. And, I mean, if you're a Winston, like, you're almost afraid to even dive this.
Nice bubble there from Choi to cleanse the purple from Smurf. That could have been horrible if he got dove on there.
Almost have Nano. Nano for both teams. Smurf's hacked, though.
Yeah, Ivy's going to wait, though. You don't want to nano just yet. Well, they do, in fact. They actually nano Sato into the Mega Health Hammer, so they're going to be able to go in with the Blade. They do can take control of the payload as well. Violet is going to be purple, and Striker now managing to finish up Sato. Okay, good start from the Shock. They don't want to let go of this space just yet. And yeah, they're going to be able to back off. Fusion, they know they can't win this fight. Just making sure the Shock invest things here is going to be good for their ultimate economy. They still have 2 minutes, of course, and the payload is 10 meters away from being completed.
Yeah, San Francisco leading on some important ults as well. They're going to have Rally much quicker at about 20% more, and they already have their Graviton Surge up. For me, this one is all about the Sombras. Hisu should definitely be able to get this. Oh, he gets a Translocator!
It's going to be good.
No one's able to capitalize, but now Hisu's got his EMP. He who Qs first might just win this map.
Yeah, well, if Fusion know they need to queue first because they've got Blade as well. Alarm could even build up to another Nano. They could, in fact, wait for an entire rotation of the Nano here to end up being 6 ults. Twilight with the sleep onto Sado. He's going to be safe though. There's the EMP. Hisu is going to throw it out. Ivy's going to get purple as well. The blade comes through and Striker and Arns have already just dished out so much damage that they end up going down. Striker with a 3-piece of his own. That's a lot invested from the Fusion. The Shock, they now have the Nano. They've got the grab and they have the Pulse Bomb too. They've got a clear win condition. The EMP and the Nano didn't end up, sorry, the EMP and the Blade for the Fusion didn't end up working here. So more of an even playing field as we enter into this last fight. However, Astro with the rally is going to be pretty big.
Rally, Nano, Grav, I mean, you can get a lot done here, especially with an individual hack. I mean, if they can hack the opposing Zarya and get their Grav off, they can win this map. And Solo. That gets healed.
Okay, Nano boost onto the Winston again. It's going to be a nice bubble from Choi. Look at him just kind of holding the fort currently. Yeah, he's going to get tickled from the back there, but Arns already ends up going down. Smurf as well. Choi manages to find one, and Graviton searching the payload too. The Pulse Bomb's going to be big. There's a personal bubble in the way though. And Fury manages to stay alive, and is now at 100 energy. Choi gets burnt down. And now Philadelphia Fusion in control of the payload. 20 seconds remaining, and the Shock need to touch. Striker gets back in time, but gets bashed, instantly killed off. The purple onto the supports as well, and the Fusion tie up the series, one apiece, as they manage to hold the Shock before the first point and cap now as well. This was going to be close, Eggs, but I didn't think it was going to be this close. The Fusion on their map pick hold them on first point. What an incredible set of ults. Like the Arns EMP just to kind of win the fight previous, and then Hisu came out with his own. That was just ridiculous. Choi was trying so desperately hard to try and salvage that as they got isolated. I think Shock doing what they were doing on King's Ruin, kind of playing a little bit split, but Choi had to come up with something big with the grab. He managed to net one person, but Fury was almost 5 steps ahead of him. He knew the Pulse Bomb was coming out, able to survive it with a personal bubble, and they couldn't really do anything from there.
Right now, San Francisco. But they haven't left spawn, so who knows just yet.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to play Sigma. I think he's just messing around. TP's forward. Mirror comps. Looks like it. Rascal and Genji, Ivy on Genji, Hisu and Striker. Yep,
perfect mirrors.
Oh, that was unlucky. Shock couldn't quite get to the mid pack quick enough. Well, no, I guess not the mid pack, the jump pack pack. Yep, I said that correctly. That was great. I like the I was going to say I really like the Sombra on this map specifically because you can kind of hide away around these trees and then hack whoever kind of comes near you. Luckily enough, Smurf managed to get his bubble down before any meaningful damage was actually done. And the controlling of the high ground is going to be fairly important. Rascal's in a lot of trouble, but luckily enough, Fury is at no energy whatsoever. He's going to be a little bit more energized now as he gets a full bubble's worth of charge. Oh dear, that hack was good. Hisu hacking Choi and isolating in. However, Sado suffered the same fate, and now Smurf coming back in. 2 tanks dead for the side of the Fusion, and even a hack onto the onto the Genji too. He's not doing all too much. The Shock definitely with a nice little position over the Fusion now.
Oh, missed
missed
the shotgun shurikens. Like, usually you think, like, you're getting hacked as Genji, that, like, oh, it's fine, I'll right-click. Missed them all. Hisu just tiptoeing through the raindrops there, gets the hack, gets the kill. That's huge.
Nanobase available for both teams almost. Twilight a little bit behind Alarm currently. Nano, oh, the EMP, oh, that would have been so sick, but the EMP actually landed on 3 people on the Fusion. 5 hacked for the Shock. Choi going low, somehow kept alive, and Nano boost on Fury to keep him in the fight. No Nano Blade available for the Fusion now, as they only have Ivy with the ult. Rascal's approaching his. So this is going to be Shock's big turnaround ultimate.
Well, they don't really need to turn anything around. They're in full control here, and you know, Oasis is a map that the fights aren't over until they're fully over. Here comes Blade.
Nano Blade. Oh, there's nothing you can do. Run away. Oh, that was unfortunate. And now they can just sit in control. Control is such a fickle mistress as well, because if you control the point first, you're in such a good position where you force the enemy team to use ults. You force them to push into you, so you not only gain a lot more ult charge, but the time is not of essence to you. You can sit on the point, you can stall out with things like Primal Rage, and then you force the enemy team into using ults. We're now up to 70% for the Shock, and there's only really been about one fight, Hex.
Yeah. And Oasis feels like the worst offender in that regard.
Because there's so many places you can hide, which is rather annoying. There is a Graviton Surge and a Rally on top as well. Choi doesn't stand a chance. He did get naded. So he was able to keep himself alive for at least a little bit longer there, and Twilight and Violet were just pumping him full of heals, but it wasn't to be. Testing the point is the name of the game now for the Shock. There's the Blade in the back. Ivy is going so low. 1, 2, 3 slashes to take out Twilight, but they end up trading after this small engagement. And now Funny Astro taking a couple of kills of his own. They end up finding the reflip, but Shock are not out of this just yet. They pop the Rally to get back into this fight, but now Fusion in that nice situation where they can just kind of sit back and relax, wait for Sado to come back. But no, they're going to step off the point. Okay, the EMP came out and only hit one as well. Hisu managing to score Rascal and then get him with a manual hack too. He's going to get hacked manually and then stunned and then not even go down. The Shock just pumping so many resources into Rascal, and now they're in OT. They have to stick on the point and luckily managed to get the flip Hex.
Fury's at 100%, and that's just a eraser paint tool right there. Click on them, they're out of the game. San Francisco, it's because that they have won fights 2v4 before that those things are going to happen. The only big mistake I point towards is probably the rally at the end where Violet throws it in and they try to get back in there. I don't mind Smurf just making sure they get up to 99%. Philadelphia stepping off the point. It's not that big of a deal. It's a pet peeve of mine, but it didn't end up hurting.
Look at the ults though. Oh my god, that was a big EMP. Alarm, Funny Astro and Fury get EMP'd, and the Nano Blade comes in. That's 3 kills for Rascal. I'd be trying to like level this one out, and he's doing a good job of it as well. Choi and Violet end up going down. The Genji 1v1 on the payload, on the point. Striker's back. Oh, it's cheating from the Shock. The 2v1 in the end. Disrespected. The 1v1. OT now here for the Shock as it ticks down. Fusion can come back to this maybe. They managed to touch the point just in time, and they've got ults to spare as well. Alarm jumping over to the Moira to make sure he can keep his team alive in this upcoming fight.
Yeah, this one is not over by any means right now. Philadelphia with an enormous ultimate advantage.
That's a nice little hack as well onto the Winston Smurf, scouring the cover. The Graviton Surge in the back as well. Yep, Sado and Ivy find the 2 in there, and Rascal gets cleaned up as well. Fusion eventually take control once more.
Well, that's great for Philadelphia as well, because they used 2 tank ultimates, but look, their damage are still holding on to it. A nice late stagger as Alarm gives him the Colin Robinson treatment. Energy Vampire towards the grave. Philadelphia is going to be able to come back with this because they have an EMP, they have a Blade, and now we're nearing final fight here. What does San Francisco have to be able to fight this back? It may have to come up to the Rally, and Rally should keep them alive long enough to be able to match an EMP and a Blade, but you don't want to be in position where you get caught out first.
Oh, that's a good EMP as well. The Blade's going to come out too. Smurf, Choi, Violet hacked. Smurf, Violet dead. And Choi's going to get chased down as well by Astro. Finds a nice little boop kill. And now Shock in a dangerous situation where they need to be able to touch the point. I don't think they're going to be able to. Almost a complete team wipe. Alarm just kind of spraying around, see if he can find anybody sneaking. There you go. There's Striker. Manages to get the OT as well. So coming back in with the Primal Rage is still not lost for the Shock. Smurfing can continually touch here on the point. There is the Coalescence to try and turn the tides. However, Striker with the EMP is going to be pretty big. Fury, Sado, Ivy hacked, and Fury ends up getting taken out. And now Rascal with the Blaze and the Rally at his back. Rascal finds 3 yet again. Alarm finds him, but it doesn't matter at all because Twilight's now on the point with Violet. He's going to have Nano for this fight as well. Somehow, some way, the Shock come back in what looks such a winnable fight for the Fusion. Striker ended up touching. They triggered OT. They sent they send Smurf in on the Winston, who was then able to leap in and out with the Primal Rage and continue contesting, and Shock take the round.
I very rarely call fights over and be wrong about it, but it's San Francisco. I just have to tell myself, like, when are you going to learn this lesson, old man? It's San Francisco. It's not over till it's over, till the bell rings, till the whatever you want to call it, whatever old adage you want to use. San Francisco always finds a way. My goodness, I can't believe they're able to pull stuff like that off. 1-0 on Oasis, tied up in the series final of the Countdown Cup between these two behemoths. And it looks like we have a mirror match yet again.
Oh yeah. Isu has been slept, mind you. Should be okay. Gonna be too far behind on alt charge. Yeah, Strike, you might want to throw that to safety just to make sure if you do get into danger. Philadelphia Fusion yet again managed to take Mega Pack control, so if they can just play around that, or at least have Sado just kind of sit on it. It's a lot less pressure on the healers, of course. Joy Open ends up going down. You can see the pressure they're exerting. It's so tough when the enemy team has like a third source of healing from these hacked Mega Packs. Of course, they respawn a lot quicker as well, so it's worth keeping in mind. Fusion end up capping the point first. And, I still sleep again on Ivy, but you're good.
That's fine.
I will seal you.
San Francisco can come back in with an EMP. They're a little bit faster on the EMP charges. Hisu is getting hurt again, so has to bail out.
Oh, Strike is dead. Are they going to be able to follow this up? I don't think they can. Oh, the kill onto Alarm is going to be good, though. He did get isolated in the side. I kind of take it back. There's the blade from Ivy straight into the back line. Twilight got hacked as well, so couldn't even grenade himself. He couldn't sleep. Ivy finds two, and it being both the supports as well. Shock have to play this one a little bit more scarce. Smurf takes out Fury, but still no heals on the point. Doesn't matter. Smurf literally doesn't care. He rips through two people. Striker's going to come back as well, and they find the flip.
Yeah, Smurf ends up winning out in that monkey knife fight. Gorgeous George ain't so gorgeous no more, and he's able to get another two on top of it. San Francisco now in control, counting up, and as is Oasis, it's such a hard map to flip back. Garden, City Center. I mean, University is the easiest one to be able to retake control of because everything's wide out in the open.
Oh my god. No, if that actually killed, I would have been pretty annoyed if I was the Shock. There's the EMP. Nano available. I don't think they're going to need it now. Rascal has already gone down. They're even going to rally in. In fact, matched rallies. Graviton Surge on the brick. Goodbye, Choi. Goodbye, Violent. Eventually, he's still getting kept alive, but the kills are very much in the side of the Fusion. Yeah, they're anti, but it doesn't matter. They got too much pressure in the front. Again, rather backwards and forwards is Gardens. Another flip. Fusion 40% now in building.
Yeah, this stage is a microcosm of the series thus far, just completely back and forth. Whoever gets a little bit more value out of their ultimate seems to win the fight, and it's always the last two people alive, seemingly so. San Francisco on the comeback is going to have a Nano and a Blade. They might want to wait and just guarantee a fight win by waiting for Striker to get in the mix. Choi Hyobin gets anti, Choi Hyobin gets healed.
Twilight's in trouble, but he's going to be okay. Oh no! He did miss one shot on Violet there. I'm not sure if that would have actually mattered. I think you just go again. If you don't have your Brig, it looks kind of disastrous, but of course they are the Shock after all, so they can just go when they want. They have EMP, they have Blade. There's the Blade in the back. Alarm's dead. Oh, did nice translocator there from Hisu to get out of there just in time, but Choi manages to Graviton Surge Sado, so he couldn't do anything. Hisu with the translocator out of the fight, and an EMP as well on top for Striker. I'm not entirely sure if that was even necessary from the Shock.
It 100% was not. And I think part of this is just a byproduct of having people who don't necessarily play a ton of Sombra being on the Sombra. And it's so much of like, I don't want to die with it. What if we needed that EMP? There is a little bit of nerves when you have to play this new hero. Sombra plays differently than almost everything else. It's hard to find a comparable hero that's like, oh, I guess the tracking's like Tracer, but it's like the mobility and everything. The timings are all very different. So just getting a hang of it is extremely difficult. Philadelphia, 88%, needs to win one more solid fight. They've got EMP to do it, but nothing.
Twilight,
really
what are you doing? Oh my god, Twilight! The flanking bio grenade instantly killing off both supports. That is how you carry on the Ana right there. Oh, Smurf, he's going to see Sado straight out the front door. He leaps away. That was a very risky flank from Twilight, but hey, if it's anybody that's going to do it, it's definitely him. Shock now, 10% away from securing the map and match point in the series, Hex.
Well, and San Francisco is going to have the best stall-out ultimates possible, even if they do end up losing people.
He's going to do it again! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Twilight? Another beautiful sleep into a bio grenade so they couldn't block it with a shield. Smurf now primal raging near their spawn. This is the shot that we like to see. Just all attitude, no fuss. OT's going to tick down. It's only Sado on the point. He's going to get flammed. Victory Blade from the Rascal. And Shock are going to find themselves with match point in the series 3-2 as we go on to our next one.
Oh, I think you nailed it, man. All gas and no brakes. That's a San Francisco Shock style for you. And where he is right now, Philadelphia would run Winston on Numbani. You always knew it. You always knew Philadelphia was running. You could take the nameplates off of the teams, and it's like, oh, okay, there's a Winston on defense when no one else is playing it. This is Philadelphia. Sado's playing Winston.
Ooh,
okay. So a cute little check.
Yeah, I think he was checking for the Sombra.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Just to make sure he's not doing any funny business. Oh, there.
Oh, there he just picked the wrong side.
Hello, Isu. Okay, so same kind of comps for both teams. Mirroring again, no surprises here. And it's going to be all about really strikers setting up. Same with Hisu. Hisu's been able to get a lot of ult charge, being on the defense, who are just going to naturally get that a little bit quicker. Nice bio grenade though, Twilight and Rascal going a bright to purple. I'll be able to escape the chocolate factory rather soon. We're going to have to be a little bit careful. What the? Okay, that was interesting. I'm not entirely. I think that was a sleep and a normal dart deflected back into Choi. Whoops, Daisy. There is 2 dicks now been acquired. And a third.
Are they gonna touch?
They're not gonna touch. Okay, well, you just don't touch. Okay, and guess what, Hex? It's Numbani, so point 2 just doesn't exist. Although it might do now, actually, because Rascal and Smurf have ended up going down. Normally on this map, we just, over the last tournament, you just don't see second. It's like half a fight, and then you just give it up, and you only fight third, and you have a 5-minute time bank on third. Like, that's just how it is. Although, I do
need
believe,
a pause, I think.
Yeah, they are gonna call for a pause, so maybe something happened there, because that was very odd, the fact that Fusion just didn't touch, so... and scrims, so... however, this time around, with Shock losing 2 people early, Fusion going to be able to hold this really close. It depends how Striker's going to set up with an EMP, though.
Yeah, obviously holding corner is a little bit better when you have double shield, but you're still going to put the Winston over here. The EMP hits hard.
Good. They still managed to get the Nano off, though, and in fact, Choi's just going to walk on forward. He has Nano. Sado's going to have Nano as well, but he's trapped in this small room. Nice little sleep onto Sado, too. Fury ends up going down. Perfect. Reactive Nano boost from Twilight. Now Sado's in trouble. They just walk at him. The Fusion was split between the small room and the bus area, and Sado received almost no heals because the Llama for the Astro, I believe they were LOS. They're going to fall, and, well, there you go. Point 2, it's going to get capped, and there's nothing really their defense can do about it.
Well, with the notion is without a shield tank that you want to post your Winston there so that he can get the cleaver on the corner, you give him the bubble, he's got his own, fish dome to drop down as well. But San Francisco just decided to just walk in with their Brigitte and say, no, you stay in this room. We're not even going to bother trying to kill you. Just stay in here, and the rest of our team's going to walk forward. San Francisco didn't have to use anything except Nano. Nothing.
Look at the ult. Ooh, there's the EMP, there's the play. The bio grenade was good as well. Twilight does end up going down, but look at Rascal dive on these walls. However, without healing, he's going to be in a sorry situation. He does end up going down, but he distracted Astro and Alarm for the entirety of that. Okay, well, Violet's emoting this spawn. That's very cool. He was just waiting for the heals, but they managed to cap the point because there was no heals in the front line for Fusion. So there you go, point 2 over, and now the 5-minute hold for Fusion.
They also forced out the rally too, which is absolutely enormous. Like there's no defensive ultimates now for the Philadelphia Fusion, and then they're just now starting to get some ultimates online. For Philadelphia, it's got to be the EMP Blade, but Choi Hyobin's got grab for that.
Beautiful as well there. Stopping Twilight instantly going down. They also pop rally. Grab available. Nano Blade on the other side though. They have EMP as well. There's the Blade, there's the Nano straight at the back, deflecting. Oh, you got hacked too. Wait, the bubbles are still going to save him. And the sleep as well. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Twilight? They managed to bubble the Genji after he got hacked so he couldn't kill him. The dash didn't kill him either. And then Twilight hits the nade and the sleep to follow up. The San Francisco Shock are going to be able to push this payload in now. Hisu with the late EMP. The Fusion are scattered. The Shock with a 4-minute, 20-second time bank for the next round, even if they need to go there as they cap this 3rd point.
What? Just what? Twilight is going off. This
is ridiculous.
Animains rejoice because this has been a treat all day watching these god-tier Ana players hit amazing shots. The self-preservation is insane. And 2 of the Philadelphia Fusion's 4 kills came on just garbage time cleanup after first point was captured. And then I think they got, they got Rascal once when he overextended. That was it. No defense on Numbani.
So exactly what happens here, the Genji gets bubbled after he's hacked because he was deflecting to stop that damage going through, and then Twilight hits the sleep as Ivy dashed, he 180, hit the sleep, then hit the nade, the damage was enough, he killed him off. That was the best peeling of a Nano Blade I think I've ever seen. That was unbelievable. Shock and... I said point 2 doesn't exist, and potentially a 5-minute hold, because we've seen it before. We saw it in the last series. But with a 4-minute time bank, 4 and a bit minutes, that's absurd. That's actually absurd.
Yeah. We're going to have to see where that one ranks as far as fastest Numbanis of all time, because it did not really get slowed down too much. A small hiccup after first point capture. Now Philadelphia Fusion must complete the map, and San Francisco...
No, the cheese. Oh, that was a really nice scout in there from Hisu. Almost got the hack off as well.
He almost got slept.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster. Of course, sleep being a small animation, of course, you can use it to interrupt things, ultimates being one of them, but it interrupt recalls as well. So if you sleep someone, the damage you can do in that time that actually getting back up could normally be quite deadly, especially if you've got a Genji and a Winston jumping on you as well. So keep in mind.
Well, initially they were able to push Rascal off the high ground, but he got a ton of heals, so the Winston follow-up was not able to push him back to spawn. And Philadelphia going to go for the pincer move. Well, didn't wait for his team to go up there and hope that Shock could engage.
Personal bubble has already been used, actually, from the Shock, yeah, so Choi has to be playing rather safe. Astro ends up going down. Notice it will sleep on the return there, but they do trade him for Smurf. Numbani, one of the best maps really for defenders because the spawn point is fairly close, so Fusion know time is of the essence currently. They're going to Nano Furious, they send him forward. Side is still pretty low, but you don't want to get in front of Fury, not when he has this much charge and a Nano. This Graviton Surge is coming online rather shortly. Striker's going to go down as well.
Nah, they're not fighting. Smurf respawned. He was the first one to die in that. He took one look at the glowing Fury.
Oh, that was so nice. Oh, everybody's sleeping. They all sleep, taking a little nap together in the corner. They haven't quite captured the point yet, but it will be there momentarily. There you go. And the
San Francisco was
the back line. Everybody is really low, by the way. Imagine if Winston had resets. That would be ridiculous. Joey ends up ending his own life on the bubble there, but here we go. Point 2 in Numbani. It's going to go within the blink of an eye. Fusion are going to hold really far up with Astro being on the payload.
San Francisco was going to go in there if that sleep didn't happen. They were trying to send 2 on one side and waiting for the dive-in to come from their tanks, who were just posturing right around the corner. Luckily, they got the sleep, and San Francisco unable to recontend. However, San Francisco has not wasted ultimates, so sometimes where the snowball can happen is that you dominate a team like Philadelphia just did on first point, and the other team doesn't have ultimates. That is not the case for San Francisco. We've got a full 6 loaded on each side. Time to enter Q City here, see who comes out on top. Really, for me, it's always about which Sombra gets a better EMP.
Oh, the EMP, that was perfectly placed onto Choi. He's going to get purpled as well, but the armor stacking up from the shock. Choi was the target that they wanted to leap on, but they just couldn't get to him. He got EMP'd, he got naded, was sub 100 HP, and still unable to take him down. One dash will kill him there, Rascal. He's just waiting for the cooldown. Goodbye. And now the Shocker turning this second point into more than just one fight, and they still finding picks as well.
Well, Shock might just hold this door.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the payload's going to trickle back as well, Hex. So they're gaining not only a lot of time, they're burning on not only a lot of time, but a lot of progress is being lost here by the Philadelphia Fusion.
Okay, well, Philadelphia is going to have their tank ultimates because during that last engagement, Choi did have to use his Graviton to be able to save his own life. The Nanoblade comes out, though, from San Francisco.
Yeah, but it's going to get bubbled, and yep, goodbye. Rascal's not going to do all too much. Graviton turned on the side. They managed to catch Choi. Now it's a 5v6. Primal Rage prop from Smurf, but he's already pretty low. And Fury doing a good job of protecting his back line. The target is Rascal. They managed to find it, and Smurf getting out of there rather fast. He had the Primal Rage, but not a lot of life left. Now the Philadelphia Fusion can eventually claim control of the payload again, but still a lot of time actually burnt off their time bank. I think this is the longest second point we've had in quite a while.
Well, it's the biggest benefit of San Francisco going first and finishing the map the way they did, because then your mindset switches. You're not trying to beat the other team. You're not trying to win team fights necessarily. You are fighting the clock.
Oh, they EMP'd and got the payload. That is unfortunate for the Fusion. They definitely wanted to save that if they managed to secure the payload there on the second point. The Shocker are going to be more than happy with that, having an EMP of their own now. Fusion tried to hold aggressively.
Well, the Shocker in this scenario that Philadelphia found themselves in earlier, where they just need a play on defense. Something has to give here. Big EMP. It's two.
Fury's the target. You can see his health bar dwindling, and he's purple. Alarm trying to keep everybody alive, though, with the nade available too. That's pretty big, but no, Smurf ends his life rather shortly after. Smurf does end up going down, and a rally actually forward from the Fusion is going to be good news. And now Choi is caught off guard. Like, he's on the Mega Room, which is really nice for your self-sustain, but he's cut off from the rest of his team. Regardless of that EMP being good from the shock, the Fusion are able to just navigate around it.
San Francisco's all over the place right now.
I mean, their mindset has changed, like you said, Hex. Ideally, they just need this one play. Speaking about plays, Starter's going to do just that, but he turns into an ult bank. He gets hacked in the Primal Rage, and now has to play rather safe. A good sleep onto Choi, stops the aggression. However, they're just waiting for ults. The Fusion just need this EMP and the Nano Winston. They're going to Nano him first to create a little bit more space, but Alarm actually gets grabbed in the back. A nice little nade, but it is going to be worth it. Rascal comes in with a blade, gets a couple of resets, and that'll be, once again, the Fusion's offense thwarted.
I mean, San Francisco did such a great job of just putting a tourniquet on where everyone was positioned and stopping the bleeding there, because they were able to get Rascal out alive, and even Choi Hyobin, who was caught in no man's land, up kind of where Smurf is now, he was able to get to the top balcony, and the rest of San Francisco pushed far enough forward that he could drop down and rejoin the team, and then he was able to get the Graviton to shut down Alarm's aggression. Philadelphia with the EMP, Blade, Grab, Rally, ready. Any sort of combination of those should win them the fight. It's going to be difficult for Striker to get a great deal of value out of this EMP unless Philadelphia all pushes forward at the same time. They're all in the same spot.
Oh no, the Primal Room. They do end up sending in the EMP though. Look at all those hacked people. However, they're able to scurry away on the stairs. Alarm is dead too, so the Fusion haven't got much healing left. They supplement that with a rally. The Ivy's going to go in with the blade, straight to the backline, but Smurf takes him out. Spawn advantage for the shock as well. There was a lot of hacked people also, but the damage was not there. The healing was not there for the Fusion. They throw a whole bunch in on that fight, and now the shock 1 minute and 25 seconds away, Hex, from taking the Countdown Cup.
Well, Philadelphia had this intermediate staging ground in low pack room, and all of a sudden they're all grouped together. The Primal comes in and it creates chaos, and then Striker gets an enormous EMP. The follow-up is there. Philadelphia has to burn ults just to try to stay alive. They have nothing of impact left. It is just going to be the Primal Rage up for them. Meanwhile, San Francisco nearing a grab, nearing a blade. Ivy in trouble. Below 1 minute, San Francisco trying to close out this tournament.
My heart's racing, I bet theirs are as well. A one key hack here could be good, or then maybe they wait for Rascal to Blade and then they hack him, stop him getting resets. But Shock, they've got Grav, they've got Blade. They're going to throw the Grav in first. There's the Blade, nade on top, Alarm, Ivy dead. Fury's going to follow as well. And now Philadelphia Fusion need to touch the payload. The Shock have thrown everything they have in last and still have more to go to. They're going to get Nano up. Smurf might have Primal Rage also. It's going to be up to Sado here to touch, but they got 25 seconds to do so.
Yeah, that's the play, is let Smurf go in, bubble him, heal him up, and then nano him afterwards, get the primal off.
The Primal's going to be there. If they get the hack, it's going to be big. Still 10 seconds remaining. Rascal's getting bullied. The payload is being touched, so OT will be here in a moment. But Twilight still with the nano boost, like, this is really it. They're actually just going to nano Smurf. They isolate Fury, and he's dead. He's not available for the final fight. OT is here, but every single person from the Fusion are cut down. Ivy comes in with a blade, but killed off by Violet. The San Francisco Shock have done it. 2 championships in the monthly tournaments. The Countdown Cup is theirs for an organization with such a stacked lineup, just brimming, bursting with talent. And championship winning players, you expect nothing less.